This content is the property of Put It Out There TV, also known as PIOT TV, a property of the House of Yasha Allah El Trust. If you are viewing and or listening to this content on a non-PIOT TV branded platform, then we kindly ask that you stop and flag this content for copyright infringement. Thank you.
Peace and love, everybody. I am Judah Sun for Put It Out There TV. I appreciate you rocking with me and allowing me to take up so much of your very valuable time. As you can see, this topic is addressed around or built around Dr. Umar Johnson. I believe he goes by another name, Dr. Umar Ifatunde. I may be incorrect, so I do apologize about that. But anyway, through a video on his YouTube channel, it was referred through YouTube automatically. There was a video that came up, and it was an interview of him, and it was stating how he was having tax issues. You know, he wasn't able to get the 501c3. So before I go on, I say I would rather be a part of a solution than to be a part of a problem. To go on further, I'll even say that I don't know what has been done with any monies that have been donated to Dr. Umar Johnson. Hasn't even been in my scope of view. I haven't even been looking at it. It's not really none of my business. I wasn't even really paying attention to it, though I have noticed throughout the years there has been, videos where he's supposedly being exposed for doing this with the money, that with the money. The money is spent. He doesn't have the money, things of that nature. With that being said, I still want to, like I said, offer a solution. I haven't looked into that. Maybe that's something that I'll look into later, but I can kind of appreciate at face value what the brother is doing. I can appreciate what he's doing at face value. And, for some reason, we always get the magnifying glass and the microscope out on our own. This is not to take any shots at anybody. This is just what we do. It's something that's been ingrained into us somehow, shape, form, or fashion. But anyway, let me go down this list of things of what Dr. Umar Johnson said. Now, the name of his school is the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. It's a fly title there. Now, basically what Dr. Umar was saying, he was saying that once he purchased the property of the school, right? He purchased the school, and what happened is, after he made the purchase, he had exactly 2 weeks from the date of purchase to request tax exemption from the city and the county, because the school is in Delaware, Wilmington, Delaware, and they don't have state taxes. So you're taxed through the city municipal corporation and the county municipal corporations. Pay attention to why I'm saying that. Corporations. Now, what he is saying is, and I don't know if this is true, but if it is, it's a dastardly thing. The closing attorney did not advise him of this fact that he had 2 weeks from the date of purchase to process the payment, or in order to process the application to be granted tax exemption. So he said he went back to the lawyer and he asked him, well, why didn't you make us aware of this? Why didn't you, why didn't you tell me that I had 2 weeks to fill out this application? Because now I'm having an issue. So what he was saying is the attorney, whose job is to turn over property to the state, or I'm guessing to the county or the city. Just bear with me. He said the attorney didn't tell him. Now, I don't know how true this is, but if it is true, that's a dastardly thing to do. So what happens is, by him not telling him that, it ended up making, from what Dr. Umar is alleging, it ended up making the school $150,000 in the red in debt as far as back taxes. $150,000, right? And what he's saying is it costs about that much every year in order to run the school when it comes to taxes, which is something that they can't afford. He wasn't afraid to admit that. All right. Now, so he goes on to say, by that happening, by him being put into automatic debt and default for back tax, not default, but being put in the red for $150K on back taxes, he had to set up a payment plan with the city municipal corporation and the county municipal corporation. You see how that works, right? Now, he says on top of that, in order for one of those agreements to be concrete, which I believe is with the city or maybe with the county, he has to resolve a utility bill, right? Now, it sounds like what he was saying is that the utility bill is something that he's not actually responsible for. And also there's a discrepancy with the meter readings. So that's why they haven't paid the utilities as of yet. So he's saying he has the money to pay the utilities. That's no issue. But he was also saying he was advised, right? He was advised not to pay it until the investigation on the discrepancy with the meters was resolved, because if there was actually a technical issue, then what they could do is cut off some of that bill so he could finish paying off what he was lawfully or legally required to pay, which makes sense. That's reasonable, right? Now, during this time, while he's going through all this stuff, at the same time, they had already applied for tax exemption. I'm assuming this is what he was saying, that he had applied for tax exemption via the IRS. Now, they were granted tax exemption via the IRS without them being put on notice by the IRS. They kept trying to get in contact with the officer who was handling their case with them being granted tax exemption via the IRS. And they weren't able to get a hold of him. So he said, lo and behold, come to find out, they had been granted the tax exemption via the IRS, only for the tax exemption to be withdrawn by the IRS without them even knowing this had happened until they did further investigation. That sounds like a dastardly thing if that factually happened. Right? Now, with that, because we're going to focus on this 501c3 thing. With that being said, as I said it before earlier in the video, I'd rather be a part of a solution than add on to a shitstorm. All right. Now, as you can see here, there's plenty of links online. Just Dr. Umar Johnson taxes. You Google that, you can see there's over 1,580,000 results in less than a second. And there's all types of content on the brother. Different people put out some content on the brother, not in favor of the brother. And I'm not taking any shots at them. But what I'm saying is basically there are more than enough people out here online who has a lane that they're in for, taking shots at Dr. Umar or exposing the brother. Now, I'll go on further to say, they don't need me in that lane with them. Going further to say that I'm a Moor, right? Make that clear. I do not identify with being so-called black. Don't touch that whatsoever at all. But brother Dr. Umar Johnson does. Now, whether he does or not is still my brother. I have to give him some type of benefit of a doubt. And as I said, I haven't really looked into anything, but what I want to do is offer a solution to the brother's problem. Now, obviously, this right here is something that these attorneys have failed to advise his brothers of. His accountant has failed to advise him of. And again, this is not taking any shots at anyone. I don't know what their body of knowledge is. I don't know what they know. I don't even know if an accountant is supposed to be aware of 501c3, which I guess it makes sense, because I guess churches have, accountants. I do apologize for that train in the background, everybody. So I want to offer a solution, because I believe at one point in time, sometime in the past, I heard Brother Dr. Umar Johnson speak on the school, which is called Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, hashtag FDMG. I like that. FDMG Academy, right? He said that the school was going to be teaching African spiritualism, dealing with the ancestors, African spiritual systems, right? Now, with that being said, practicing that falls under the First Amendment. That falls under religion. And it's a shame that our people work so hard to get away from religion, because that word, unfortunately, when you flip over the coin, somebody has licked it with a loogie on the back of it and stamped Christianity on the back of the religion coin. So when our people hear religion, unless they're devout Christians or come up in the church, or unless they're Muslims, whatever the case may be, they want to get away from it. But the fact is, Brother Dr. Umar Johnson, when you are dealing with African spiritualism, all right, you are in fact dealing with religion, First Amendment, faith-based works, which is protected by the First Amendment of the American Constitution.